Hey, Sabin.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. It looks like it's working. The internet seems okay.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, so far so good. I've got a hotspot, so we'll see how it goes.
It
But
should work.
yeah, it should probably work. So how you been?
Good. Should we start over? What do you think?
Yeah, might as well just start over. We'll just get acquainted and yeah, might as well. I'll look at the old footage and see if I can mix it in, but I don't know that we need to. You did send me some files, but they're also on your Instagram. So we'll refer to your Instagram, I think.
Okay.
Is
I
that
mean, I can send them to, it's easy.
no,
I
I
can,
mean, as long as they are, I think they are on your Instagram. I looked this morning. Like
oh
the,
yeah, everything's there.
yeah. So we'll just go through your Instagram at some point here.
Yeah.
But so anyway, yeah. So good to have you, man. It's great to
Thank
have you.
you. I'm psyched to talk about this, my Utah podcast here.
I know. I got to tell you, man, it's crazy that you came from New York. It was wild when I heard that. How long you been here now?
We left March 11th of 2025 and arrived March 14th. We drove across the country.
Okay. So tell
Yeah.
me again, why Utah, of all places?
Well, it started off, we finished the World War One memorial, and it was September of 24. And then, you do a project like that, it's so freaking huge. It's nine and a half
Yeah.
years. And then it's like,
Wait,
what
hold on. I cut you off. Did you say 9.5 meters?
years?
Oh,
Years.
years. Okay.
Nine and a
Still
half
amazing.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to go backwards. And I thought the phone would ring after a big monument like that, and nobody called.
Mm,
And um, it kind of tells you the state of the world and the art world.
I know, right?
Monuments are just not being made, and
Yeah.
and so then I really sat with it for a while, and it was like I went to Texas, and it was a disaster. I went and met the mayor of Fort Worth and four museum directors.
Well, what do you
And
mean you just you there must have been something there that interested you.
well, I came up with an idea. I was like, okay, we got the 250th, and then it was like, let's think about this. It's like, who's doing anything of like lasting value for the country?
Right.
Um, and I was like, well, I got to do something that's going to serve the rest of the population. I don't want to just make art in a studio for myself. It's like I want to do stuff that's going to
That's
communicate.
exactly where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing. So I came up with the idea for the Grand Liberty Arch. It was just an idea. It was
Yeah.
just an idea. It wasn't even a form. Like it wasn't, I hadn't even thought of composition. And then I went to Fort Worth and I met the mayor after, and she said, okay, I'll get the four museum directors there. And it was a disaster.
How do you even get a
Um,
meeting with a mayor?
um,
You start making phone calls and
it, it's, I think artists are really puzzled about business sometimes. I mean, not all of them, but it's
yeah.
like, okay, so I was like, all right, it pops in my head. I want to make a monument in Dallas. I want to make a really big monument in Dallas.
Yeah.
And so then it's like a few weeks later, I talked to my friend Abby, and she goes, "Hey, I know the mayor of Fort Worth." And I said, "All right, would you send um so text message? Hi, I'm Sabin. I made the National World War One Memorial. Can I meet with
That's a
you?"
good intro. And that
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, yeah. And so
I guess
then
that'll get you a meeting.
that's how it went. It was
Yeah.
like, and I mean, and so then and then it was just like I went down there. We had a dinner. And I shared my vision of making this like monument that's super kinetic. It's like, let's make a history monument that tells our story, that's dynamic and explosive off of the panels. And
Right.
the director of the Kimball Art Museum goes off. He goes like, wait a minute. that's the old history. That history is racist. And I was like,
Oh
what?
my gosh, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? This is I look at the painting of George Washington crossing the Delaware. That's an amazing painting. It's like, look at it. It's heroic. It's like our country's like hasn't even been formed, and this guy's like taking a step into the void. It's like all faith. It's like he has nothing, and he's going up against the world's greatest navy. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
and I said this, and he goes, "Our country was built on the backs of slaves." And I was like, "What? Okay. What about 1618 or 19, whatever that is?" And I was, and then I was like, "Okay, you told me there were 1 million people in Fort Worth, and didn't you tell me yesterday that you had 200 visitors a day?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Well, then that makes you irrelevant."
You said that?
Yeah, I
My
don't give, who
gosh.
cares? You're
Yeah, you
not
don't
paying
have
my
it.
bills. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not,
know. That is a very small amount of visitors.
right.
Holy moly.
It basically, I called him a loser. And then it was like, from there, it was like, why don't you do something good? You should be honored that I'm here at the table. It's like, I want to do something for your community, and you're like pulling this on.
I'm surprised
And
this
then,
happened in Fort Worth, Texas, of all places.
yeah, but anyway, Maddie Parker she's the mayor. She's a 30-year-old. She pulled this all together, and it was just like a disaster. And then I go home, and that next week I was on the phone with Senator Mike Lee.
Yeah.
And Mike had been he sat next to me at the unveiling of the World War I memorial. And my wife, had met him at Alliance for Responsible Citizens, this like thing in London. It's with Jordan Peterson. And so Mike's wife had said, "Yeah, we would love to come." And then he held his promise, and he showed up, and he sat next to us, and he was the highest ranking official at the World War I memorial unveiling. And honestly, nobody from the Biden administration, I hate making this a political thing. I'm an
I don't
artist.
think
I'm
you
not,
are. You're just saying who came and who didn't. Yeah.
yeah, I hate politics. It's like
Yeah, I know.
downstream. It's like,
It's toxic at this point.
yeah, completely toxic. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I just want to make beautiful art
Yeah.
um, that has value and plays forward things that should go into the
But it sounds
future.
like you're patriotic, which
Well,
shouldn't be a party thing, right?
I'm just not like into being like a victim. It's like I'm
Yeah,
here
yeah.
because I put myself here. Honestly, look, okay, my backstory is this. I grew up in Italy.
What?
Yeah, my mother's Italian. You can't make this kind of stuff if you're American. Sorry, guys.
Wait a
Sorry.
minute. Your mom's full-blooded Italian?
Yeah, I'm an Italian citizen.
No
I'm
joke.
Howard because my dad is American, but my mother is Falco, and I grew up in Torino and Milan.
You still speak Italian?
Yes, my first language.
No kidding, man. You got a
Yeah,
great
and I
accent.
have,
Holy cow, I
yeah,
wouldn't even have known.
because I learned them at the same time.
Oh, right, because you have one American parent.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so my grandparents never learned English, and so when I was in Italy from 3 months old to about 3 years old, then we came back to the U.S. And the reason I'm telling you this because that's my mental hard drive. It's like visual beauty, and then U.S. think outside the box. Anything's
Right.
possible. That's a big difference between Europe and U.S. U.S. is like you could be like mediocre at your craft, but everybody's telling you you're amazing, and it's like the attitude in this country gets you everywhere. Like whatever you think is what happens, basically. So I could not draw, Jeff, at age 19.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't draw. My girlfriend could draw better than me.
Why did you decide to be an artist if you didn't have
I
a
was, I was, I got a job in South Philly,
mm-hmm.
which was Guido Central. It was hilarious. And I started on Monday, and it was a cabinet making shop, and the guy had me sweeping up wood scraps and sanding the furniture through the grades.
Yeah.
And oh my God, by Thursday, I was like, I can't do this. So I told him, listen, I'm going to quit. It was 4 o'clock. I actually remember the date. It was
You
October.
were only there like 4 days.
Yeah, October 22nd, 1982 is the day that the light bulb went on, and I was like, I'm going to make art.
What?
And I
It
was
seems
like,
so arbitrary.
but it wasn't because I was like, it had been in my head for a long time. And then it's like, when I don't know,
How old were you then?
I was 19.
So you weren't like the high school art kid or
No,
that,
no,
and you just out of
no.
nowhere said, I'm going to make art.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about it for years.
But
And my
why?
parents,
Why of all things?
because, okay, so when I was a kid, I had gone and seen everything because my parents dragged me around. We were in Italy
You
every
remember
summer.
that though from 3 years old?
Yeah, well, also I was there every summer for the
Oh,
till I
okay.
was 18 or 19, and I'd seen like
Okay.
everything.
It's starting to
Because
make a
my
little more
parents,
sense now.
yeah, my parents were really big into art. They were PhDs. And so
Hmm.
they dragged me around to see Chartres, Michelangelo's Medici tomb, the Uffizi, the Louvre, David at the Accademia. And it was like this education
Hmm.
of, oh, Dad, not more of this. And by the time I was 19, I was like, yeah, that's real art. I mean, I was like, sure, Dad, whatever. And so then I quit that day, and then I called my dad. I go, Dad, I'm going to go to art school. And he goes, no, how long is this going to last? And I hung up on him.
Really?
And then I called the Philadelphia College of Art, and we went. I walked over there because the lady said, okay, come over. And so she sits me down. He goes, do you have a portfolio? And I goes, what's a portfolio?
That's
And she
hilarious.
goes, she goes, okay, a portfolio. And she explains. And then she goes,
Yeah.
so you have no art training? I said, no, I have no art training. What do I
You're like,
got to
that's why
do?
I'm here, man. I'm here to pay you to teach me.
Exactly. Exactly. And back then it was like $11,000 a year. And
Yeah.
basically she told me, go get the book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. So I go over to the Joseph Fox bookstore. I get the book. I go home. I get my pencils out, and I'm supposed to draw what's on the other side of the room, which is like some furniture.
Hmm.
And it was the freaking hardest thing I ever did in my life. I was like,
Yeah, I
oh,
bet if you
and
had
my
no
brain's
training.
like,
I know.
but I loved it. I loved
You
it.
loved it
And
even
then
though it was that hard.
yes, I loved it. It was like, this is what I'm
Oh,
going to
okay, okay.
do.
That's something that always amazes me.
I loved
I
it.
want to know
I
more
was
about
on
this. Let
edge.
me tell you why. Because I've shared this on the podcast before, but people like you always fascinate the heck out of me because there are certain things I grew up good at, and there were certain things that I wasn't good at naturally. For example,
Wow.
take sports. I had an aptitude for hockey and basketball, but I tried baseball. I tried Little League when I was a kid, and I could not hit a ball or throw a ball straight. It was like, how could you be good at one sport and so bad at another? But I was. And so, because I was so bad at baseball, I hated baseball. And I developed this, like, oh, baseball is not even a sport, which I don't really believe that, but, I had to justify my
Yeah, me.
incompetence. But so when people tell me they have no art training and they never saw aptitude and they were never the high school art kid, and then they try it and it's hard as can be, I go back to my baseball little league days and I think, what kind of personality walks toward something that seems so out of reach?
Yeah.
Because for me, art was the obvious decision. I was always the art kid, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
So what is it
Wow.
about what can you pinpoint what it is about your personality that made you
Oh,
that
yeah.
way?
It's
That
funny you brought up the sports thing because if I love a challenge,
yeah.
and so it was like I came into the football team in ninth grade. I was 135 pounds, and
So I
by
used
the
you as the football?
yeah, exactly. And these guys are like 220, but
Yeah.
already, okay, so the coach goes, all right, I'm going to give you a weightlifting program. So I go, I slam on the weights. I'm like, and within like, you're freaking 17 and your testosterone's through the roof.
Right.
And it's like I start weightlifting and I'm eating well. And I'm within 6 months, I'm doing reps on the bench press, 225. And I go up to like
Wow.
190 in literally,
Your
this is,
body weight.
yeah,
How tall are you?
this is crazy. I'm 5'11",
Dude, that's a
and
boatload of weight in 6 months.
yeah, but it wasn't fat. It was crazy. It's insane because you don't, it's like you can't gain like, you can gain like maybe, 25 pounds that's of muscle in a year. That's like outrageous. But I gained like 40, 50 pounds of muscle instantly. It was like crazy.
Whoa.
Um, yes.
That's got to be
Um,
your Italian blood right there.
it was, I have some sort of weird genes. It's
Yeah.
just like I was, it's just like I exploded. But I think I was a little bit underweight because I'd been working on a farm.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was like I'm moving
Well, you were
like I
definitely
was like,
underweight at 135 and 5'11. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was like a string bean. And then it's like, so it's like, okay, I accept the challenge. Maybe it was
Yeah.
like a year and a half it took me to get there. Probably a year
It's
and a half.
amazing.
It was like I think I was 194 and it was ridiculous how much I was pushing on the with the leg press. So I love the sports thing. Okay, you do the work, you get the results. It was like, oh, light bulb.
That makes sense.
And
So you kind of planted that. Well, you
yeah,
kind of set yourself up for success because you saw it happen once before.
yeah, that was exactly it. And so
Yeah.
then I was like, I got that book drawing on the right side of the brain that night, and it was like I was in my head, I was like, I'm gonna draw and sculpt like Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Raphael. That's what I wanted to do. And I didn't know it was this like BS, like this modern art thing. I didn't even know about it. It was like, whatever. We're just going to make this amazing stuff. And it
Yeah.
was like, I end up, and it was, this is so beautiful thing. It's like God's plan for my life has always been this way. It's like, that's how I met the mayor of Fort Worth. It's like, I end up in the best freaking school of the United States to learn how to do the figure. Philadelphia College of Art, they had this guy, Walter Erlbacher, who came out of like Germany. He was like he was the father of the figurative art movement back in the 70s. And he made all these other teachers.
Wow.
And I get in his
Man, and you
class.
were in the 80s was
Yep.
arguably the depth
Yeah.
of despair in art world, in my opinion.
And I'm here. It was. And
Yeah.
it was. And then I'm in this classroom with, and I get bumped up ahead to his class by his wife, who I was taking an illustration department anatomy, and she holds me back one day at 5 weeks into the semester, and she goes, "Hey, um, Monday you're going to Walter's class, structure of the figure." I said, "But Martha, you can't. That's like 11th. That's junior. That's like no, I can't. I'm not ready for that." She goes, "No, you don't get it. You're in Monday. He said you're going to come to his class." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes to me, "Shut up. He's like taking a commission the next year, and if you don't get in this class, you're not going to get this information. So show up." So I show up.
Mm.
I'm like I'm struggling, and then 10 weeks into the course, um, he holds me back. He goes, Sabin and Michelle, this other student, go, I wanted to talk to you after class. And he goes, if you two don't get your act together, you're out of here next semester. So I fucking made a beeline to my student, my little room that you call my studio. And I
Hmm.
practiced every night. I just practiced every night, setting up the armature, doing the angles and articulation of all the joints. And I got a B plus, and Michelle got her booted out of the class, and I kept going. It's
Wow.
like for some reason I'm like one of those weird people that just thrives on pressure cooker like situations where everything seems lost, like you're going down, and that's all of a sudden it's like I do well, and it's like my whole life has been that way. It's like okay, here we go again,
Hmm.
and
Do
it's
you,
the
when you
same
say you
thing.
do well, you obviously perform well, but how do you
Yeah.
do well psychologically when you're struggling
I
through the,
I don't understand it. It's like I get I don't panic. I go calm. I get really calm in
I wish I had that
si-
trait.
situations that are like would kill people. And
Really?
and so like the World War One memorial was completely about like under pressure because you're dealing with government agency approvals, working for a commission of lawyers. Um, it was very you know, just fraught with tempestuous like episodes all the time. Um,
Hmm.
fights. Um, like there was one meeting where I'd won it, and then they were telling me that I had to like give into a commission of fine arts and kind of like, you gotta compromise. And I stood up and I said, I don't give an F if this is the National Memorial. I'm gonna do my art the right way. And they
Hmm.
couldn't fire me, and I knew that. And
Wait,
then
why couldn't they fire you? Just because you were too far in?
Yeah. There have been a global competition, 360 teams, and then it's like
Ah.
I've been all over the news, and it was like you
Yeah,
got to
there's
find
no
a means.
backing out.
You
Now, I'm
can't
gonna
back
pull up
out.
your this monument. So if anyone is living under a rock and hasn't heard about it, here it
Oh,
is.
thanks.
Because you know what's crazy about you is you sort of, how do I put this? Um, you broke outside of the art
Yeah.
community. You know,
Yes.
ever since Picasso, there have never been household names in art, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, even the so-called artists, Jeff Koons and Damien Hirst, are not household names. My family doesn't know who they are, but they know who
Maybe
Picasso is,
Andy
right?
Warhol, but maybe Andy
Yeah, but he's
Warhol.
dead.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. Andy Warhol. Good point. But you, dude, I saw you on Mike Rowe. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
That
Well,
was
then you're
amazing.
making Jeff, you're making a really, really important point. General public doesn't give a rat's butt about art.
Well, that's
And
because they've
unless
been
you,
brainwashed to think that art
yeah,
is too hard to understand. In reality, it's not. It's a
well, it's
big
been
scam.
hijacked.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
we got hijacked. So it's like I I you just nailed it right on the head. If there's anything we talk about today, it's like um I'll go 35 years trying to figure it out in an art market in New York City with this gallery systems, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
you can't get above a certain price. And 35 years, and that's all I'm doing. And I'm selling, I leave the gallery system and I'm selling like everything on my own, running my own system, making my own gallery, running a business, and you still can't make it. And I saw the writing on the wall, and it was like, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going down. You need to reinvent yourself. You need to
Mm.
get out there. And then the World War I memorial popped up, but it wasn't like it popped out of nowhere because I had gotten a call from Frank Gehry for the Eisenhower Memorial, and he flew me in to LA to his office, and I met with his whole crew. And the first thing I said to him was like, "You want me to do what? You want me to be the sculptor, or you want me to be your in-house sculptor for this monument?" And he
Mm.
goes, "Well, I want you to be the sculptor." So then I told him and I said, "Well, you want me to tell you what I think of your project?" And I told him, "Your thing looks like the Natural History Museum dioramas that I see at the Natural History Museum in New York. You got a
Wait a minute.
terrible concept."
Did you did you
Yes.
deliver it a little easier than that? You don't.
No,
In the short
no,
time I've known you, you don't strike me as one who would.
no, I did not. I was like, I laid it, I was like, I laid,
Oh,
and then we talked
shoot.
for 5 hours because he said, he goes, he was smart. He said, why? And I
Good
explained
for
to
him.
him. He asked me, and he said, I love your sculpture. It's so fresh and new, but it still has such ties to Western civilization and the Greeks. And I
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, thank you. And we had a very interesting conversation. Now, the thing is, philosophically, we're polar opposites. He believes in chaos theory, or he did, he's dead. He believes in chaos. So he would crumple up a piece of paper
Yeah.
and then throw it on a desk, and then he'd tell his staff, make that the building. So they put that in the CAD machine and design a building. And I believe there's like a divine order, and everything is assembled in the universe from higher power, and you need to tap into that and then be in service of that. So nothing is random, everything is already organized, and then you are playing forward the vision that your maker has for you. This is the reason I moved to Salt Lake,
Yeah.
because I got to, I told you the other day, I flew out and I got to Temple Square, and it hit me. I read the energy viscerally, and had this sense of elevation. It was the first place I'd been in the United States that I had the same feeling that I would have in St. Peter's Square in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And I pick up my cell phone and I call Tracy and I say, Tracy, she's my wife, this is the place. And I didn't know that that's what Brigham Young had said 100 plus
You
years
can't
ago.
help but to say it when you move here. It just comes out of
And I didn't
everyone's
know
mouth.
that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's this exactly what you're saying. It's like this, when you see it, you are, you have no doubt that that is, yeah, that is God's, that is God. organization of the structure, the design, the composition. Um, and I think a lot of it has to do with the proportions of the whole, and then how the whole has a unity, and there's a hierarchy to all the parts, and the hierarchy of all the parts is correctly put together so that it holds together as one unit. And so the memorial that I made, the World War I memorial, is
Mm-hmm.
philosophical statement about that type of form where you have like 38 figures, but all the figures are interdigitated together to make a unified whole, except the shell-shocked figure, who is a definition of nihilism. And that's what happened after World War I with the decimation of 22 million people.
Dude, that's heavy.
So,
Man. So when you came to Utah, what was it? Was it the temple that made it feel like that you connected with it the way you did in Italy to the architecture? Was it
yeah,
sculpture on the temple
um,
grounds, or what was it?
all right, you're gonna laugh when I tell you this. It was the feeling of the temple and the sense of the sacred,
Yeah.
meaning that how do we look at human beings? And then there was something very funny that happened. I went to the Temple Square has been renovated for people that are not in
Or
Utah, and
being
it's
renovated.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I went I went to the public bathrooms in Temple Square, and I go in the door, and I go in the bathroom, and it's all marble, and it's completely clean. There's no graffiti. There's no like graffiti on the mirror. There's no
That's right.
trash
You
on the
came from New York.
floor. Yeah, there's no smell of pot.
Yeah.
There's no like poop on the or
I
urine stains
know.
on the wall. And it was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah. Salt Lake is so beautiful that way. So clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then um it's like it was just
And by the way,
there
I'm not
was
laughing because I have a health condition that makes me know all the best bathrooms in the city. So if you really get off on nice bathrooms, I'll give you a whole list.
it was just it was just like a wake up. And Salt Lake City Airport is like clean
Oh, it's so
or
beautiful.
organized.
Yeah.
And it was like um it's just I read energy a lot. I don't know how to explain that. It's like we have more than five senses. And I've been looking at models for like 40 years to do my sculpture. And it's like you start to look really carefully and and you sense things. You sense things about people. Uh, and I sense this thing about Salt Lake. Didn't have the stress and the anger. It's like New York City has this undercurrent of violence and anger. It's almost like the Sex Pistols and Johnny Rotten have like become like the permanent statement of New York City. It's like anarchy.
Mm.
It's like F you, F everything. It's like no God. It's nobody's got my back because if you have a sense of faith, you got a sense of grounding and you got a sense of like, okay, I'm not like in this alone. There's a plan, there's a path. I'm on a path and I'm going forward, and whatever happens to me, it's to make me a better human being. And it's like that's was what I got when I got here. And I was like, all right, these people are going to get what I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like I just started organizing, and it's like one step to the next, to the next. And then last week we got land. I got a park up by
Dude,
the
that's
Capitol.
not easy to do. Land isn't cheap here.
Yeah,
So
it's on
you must have already
Capitol
found
Hill.
some pretty fat donors then.
Not yet. We're at that part now.
Okay.
So first I had to get the land to anchor it, and we're on Capitol Complex grounds, so it's like triangle.
Yeah. That's a
And look,
beautiful
I
area.
came here, I come across the country. I know one guy, Scott, who's like a YouTuber he's a real estate guy, Scott Steele.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's the only guy I know in Salt Lake. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, let's do this. God's got a plan, time to roll. We get in the Sprinter van, Tracy and I, we pack up everything into four pods, pack up my studio, and then we head out. And that's was my plan.
So, okay, I'm sorry to be so personal, and if you want me to cut this, I can,
No, that's
but that
cool.
land must have been a fortune. I mean, how did you acquire that land?
It was donated to the project.
So you okay, that's what I was asking earlier. So that's a pretty fat donation. I mean, that's got to be at least a couple $1 million worth of property.
Could be $4 to $5 million.
Yeah. That's like, because you're right next to the Capitol.
Yeah, it's 1.37 acres.
Oh my gosh, man. Congratulations.
Yeah,
You know what
and
though?
then I
Congratulations to the rest of us in Utah
thank you, thank you.
because I drive up and down the streets of Salt Lake City and see all these like found art metal junkyard metal scrap sculptures everywhere. And it's going to be so nice to drive past the Capitol now and see that, something because the Capitol is so beautiful. We have one of the most beautiful capitals, and to see that sculpture there is going to be incredible for all of us.
Thank you, Jeff. Um, the project's insane. It's a 7.5 year project. I'll bring in 4 to 5 sculptors underneath me, and then we're going to do the biggest figurative monument that our country has ever seen. And I don't think there's been anything like this
So
since.
it's going to be bigger than the Capitol than the one at.
It's not bigger in scale. It's bigger in it's as big as the Capitol in that it's the story of we the people, which is the history of the United States, and the Capitol is the house of the people. So it's like you will look through this arch and you will see the Capitol building through the
Oh,
arch. And the figures are on the relief panels, there's 6 relief panels, and though that's the history of the United States. And then on the top of the arch, there'll be a central section. The figures go all the way up to 10.5 um, feet in scale, and there's
no way.
seated, yeah, seated figures that are 12-foot scale,
No
like 20
way,
feet up.
dude.
Yeah, this is like, and so the vision is like, let's make the Sistine Chapel in sculpture in Utah now. That's what we're doing.
Dude, I'm so excited for you. That
Thank you, but
is,
we gotta, all of us, that we need to take back what is rightfully ours
yeah.
and just call a spade, because the crap that's been made for the last 100 years and the whole monetization of what this thing that they call art, it's not even freaking art. It's this like giant joke. Um,
Yeah.
it's
Dude, I'm
insulting.
so excited. 7.5 years. Okay, so the other question I have, I think I already know the answer, but if you got this property through a developer, then you don't have to worry about dealing with the public's opinion on this. You can do whatever you want.
Correct. Pretty much. I
Yes.
did get a, I
Because Salt
did,
Lake is not exactly the rest of
friend.
Utah,
No,
right?
it's not. It's
You will
I
deal
like,
with crap
that's
if
right.
it's not
Yeah.
woke, you know.
No, the land was, I did a presentation and I got a
Yeah.
unanimous vote. The governor actually joined the committee, Capital Preservation Board. He actually got on the committee, I think, so that we would pass this land through, because I met with him 3 times. Um, and the governor was very, very pro the project. He came and spoke at a presentation I did in December and was like, spoke about how he went to DC as a young child and how the history of our country was so impactful for him. And he said, why shouldn't we have that here? And he said, I prayed for a project like this. And then Sabin showed up with his project.
Isn't he great, Governor Cox?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a great dude.
It's, I'm very impressed by him. He's very human.
Hmm.
And then, so, okay, yes, the state owns this land, and it is a residential neighborhood around it. So the community of the neighborhood is a little bit like, oh my God, you guys are putting this in. And I'm going next week to speak to the community and let them know that we are going to maintain an urban park for them. And I'm going to plant new trees, not just like little saplings, and we're going to build this monument. So they will get an added bonus. And I understand if they're upset, because this will become a destination monument for a lot of people across the nation.
Yeah. You're gonna have to let me know how that goes. I'm a little nervous
That,
for you.
no, it'll be fine. It's like
Yeah.
what I have been through
I mean, I
is,
don't know if you understand the neighborhood that you're dealing
yes, I
with.
do. Yeah, I
Okay.
do. I do.
Yeah.
I think I already had a conversation. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself with
Yeah.
the president of the council, and he was like, "I feel already better after having spoken
Okay,
with you."
good, good.
So it's because the thing is, the values that the art portrays, it's not Democrat, it's not Republican, it's uplift what a human being represents and stands for. And art is really a defining moment of like who we are. So how do you want to be defined? And so then this is like you don't want to get like academic. And this is like a whole different way of approaching it. It's like I'm making something for that neighborhood. I'm making something for, Utah. I'm making something for the nation. It's in service of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's
That's
the
freaking huge, dude. So wait, if these figures are approximately 10 plus feet tall, then that archway, 20
It's
feet.
20 feet. Then the
Wow.
platform on the top is 24, and then those figures, Lady Liberty's torch goes up 12 and a half feet.
What
Uh,
is the arch made of? Is it also
granite,
bronze?
granite.
So
And
it's going
then,
to be mixed media, granite and bronze.
yeah, granite and bronze, the
Oh my
figures.
gosh, that's going to be gorgeous.
Look at the thing on the left. That's like a Western expansion. That's like a portal that the West we came through. Around the corner is Emancipation and a native. You can't see it on, it's on the side. There's like a
Is
native
there another
fighting.
image of it? Wait, what are
Um,
these? Are these
that
3D or are
that's
they real
yeah, that's
maquettes?
a, that's I'm making a 6 foot model. So that view right there, you can see is Emancipation where your pointer is, and then right there is a settler and a native, and then you bust through the portal, which is being pulled up by Lady Liberty and three guys. And Lady
Oh
Liberty,
my
we came
gosh,
out
this is
led by
amazing. I
Liberty.
seriously almost going to cry looking at this.
Thank you. And then the other side is 20th century. The last figure's like a kid with a space helmet busting off the platform. And you can see nothing's contained. Everything
Oh,
is
it's so
exploding. Oh,
incredible.
it's like explode. And why is nothing contained? Because that's the freaking story. Americans are not contained. We have huge aspirations and creativity at our disposal, and we can do basically anything you want to do. We're so lucky. I'm not. I'm not like a rah-rah, I don't know, nationalist, but I'm all about like if we live in this country, make the best of it and say, hey, we're going to do the best. Don't complain because
Yeah,
complaining
yeah.
doesn't do anything. You got to build stuff.
Yeah, make your own
That's
fate.
a skill. Yeah, and on the walls, you're going to have constitution sentences and um, declaration sentences as well from, um,
You know, man, I mean, talk about a legacy. I don't know if that's something you're after, but whether you
no,
were
I don't
after it or not, you got it because no one's ever going to forget your name when you've got this here, the other monument in DC.
yeah, but I'm not in it for that. I just,
No, but it's still pretty awesome.
thank
Just
you.
I'll
Well,
just say it. It's pretty
uh,
freaking awesome.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell me about the block, because I understand logistically and I like the look of it, but I don't know that I would have thought of it. But
Well,
in order to space the figures, you put this bronze block in the middle.
the
Let me get one
the
where it's not panning around. Hold on. About this one. Yeah, here we go. See that block right there? Yeah.
the 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 way that I did it, it was like I want you to walk around it. It's very 3D.
Yeah.
So the thing I learned on World War I was like make it like very much like a movie in bronze. And then I went back there like 2 weeks ago, and so many freaking schools and kids, and they're all like, like wow. And it was like that's the vision I had. Make
Yeah.
it so that all these eighth graders are like, I'm going nuts. And so my wife's favorite thing is like she just walks around and goes, you like it? And they go, yeah, it's amazing. And they go, that guy over there, he made it. And I'm like, Tracy. And then
That's
I got
awesome.
200 people to tell the story to. And then it's really nice. They all clap. They're like very reverent.
That's so cool.
And so, but it just tells me something that I did the right thing. And so this is next level of that.
I think this one's
Um,
going to be better because
oh yeah.
if I'm correct, I haven't been to DC since you finished it, but the other one is one plane. I mean,
Yeah.
you only see it from one side. Is that correct?
That's right.
Where is
And,
that one on here again? It's toward the bottom, I guess.
keep going down. Yeah. It's a flat panel. That's
Yeah,
it.
here it
You
is.
right there. It's flat panel. So it's like
Oh, ours
a
is way
painting.
better. This is so amazing. Don't get me wrong, but dude,
Yeah.
this 3D
It's
idea,
next level. It's next
it's next
level.
level. Yeah.
Yeah. But Jeff, the way this came about is very much like um I didn't get a commission. I didn't get a letter from a governor or anything. I just came up with an idea and then I came up with, okay, let's go do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it could be so crazy and 3D and have an arch and have 36 feet in the air because no design committee or commission is going to come up with an idea like that. So it was like, I just kind of said, all right, let's go, let's like max this thing out. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
go do this. And then I showed it to the governor and he's like, oh my God, I love this. We're going to
So
do
this
this.
one was sculpture by committee on some level.
Um,
I mean, I know you had a lot of freedom, but compared to what you're getting now,
I'm trying to give you percentages of how, if I had to say, okay, I was told you got to come up with a concept. And then I was
hmm
working with a 25-year-old architect, and he he said, "Why don't you just have a beginning, a middle, and an end?" So that was where we started. And then it was like we presented the idea, we won the competition, and then it started. And I didn't know what I was doing. I'm being totally honest, guys. I didn't. I was like I made a mess. I had like way too many figures. It was too complicated. And then I did 25 iterations for Centennial Commission. 25 iterations. I went through
in
12
maquettes,
um, photo montage,
okay.
but 12,000 poses. 12,000 poses, guys.
Are you getting paid
That's
when you're
how,
doing this?
yes,
Okay, good.
yes. Yeah, not a lot. I
Yeah,
got a monthly stipend because I bitched and moaned. I said, I can't do this unless you guys get me like focused. And if I got to go hustle and run my business, I can't be on this 100%. We had a lot of fights.
yeah.
Um, they had no, here's the thing. It's like, um, the things that I learned in the process kind of got me ready. And then I'd never done a sculpture with more than two figures. And this has 38. And so this was my first foray into that. And so I learn on the go. And I told you guys before, it's like I'm really good to work under pressure.
Wow.
And I just learned how to do it on the fly. And there were moments in the beginning where I was like, what do I do? Everybody's telling me to something different. And one day I go into the bathroom at my studio in the South Bronx, and I have a poster of the Last Judgment on the wall. And it was like I had this a message. Sometimes you have a message that pops in your unconscious mind. I
Mm-hmm.
know it was someone higher power speaking to me, and it was like, um, do what you know. And I'm looking at the poster and it's like, that's what I know. All these figures advancing and receding into space, they're all tied together. That's what you're going to do. And
Mm.
then I started. And all of a sudden the figures started to become way more understandable. And Jeff, the the biggest thing here is I told a story. I told a
Mm-hmm.
story with figures, and I told the story that would be understood by an eighth grader. And
Yeah.
I made it dynamic. And so it's like I had to morph into like a whole different level of artistry. And I think that that's um I, I would say that this is not for everybody because it requires that you're constantly humbling yourself and putting yourself on the edge of like, what can I accomplish? Because you're stepping into the unknown all the time. It's called limbic space, where
Mm-hmm.
you step into the unknown and you have to, that's the time that you grow spiritually because you have to go do something that you have never experienced before, and you must have the faith that you will accomplish it or you will fail. So I've grown as a human being in the whole process of the art making, and this project that I've just bit off with Salt Lake is going to put me into like a whole different set of a whole different level of pain
Mm.
and organization. I mean, 56 figures in 7 years, and running the shop and fixing everybody's work. Not to be disparaging, but it's like
Well,
that's
that's
what's
your
going to be
job. You're
now.
the artist. You're the main
Yeah.
artist. Yeah.
I've been doing Jeff's online mentorship program for about a year now, and it is awesome. Everything is online, super streamlined. If you can be there, I mean, you have the ability to talk to him once a week and he can review your work and help you. If you can't be there, it's pre-recorded. You can go back and even re-watch things if you missed something during class or couldn't be there. So the online portion of it is almost better than real life because you can always go back to it, which is awesome. The demos are recorded. It's just like all available whenever you need it. And I'm a stay-at-home mom of four, and my time is limited, and it's also very interrupted. And so to be able to go back has been clutch for me. And you get to work with Jeff Hein, who's awesome. He's tough. The assignments are simple, but difficult, and they're difficult to make us all better. And he's able to give us these assignments, coach us through it, help us stay excited to progress. And so it's just been a great experience. I am so grateful that he has been willing to take time away from his own art to offer all of us to have it. So if you're thinking about doing it, it's amazing.
To learn more about how you could have me as a personal mentor, check out the link to HEINatelier.com in the show notes or video description.
Yeah. And I got to keep everybody
How are you going
on
to find
salary.
5 good sculptors? You got one
Well,
already that came with you from New York. Remind
yeah,
me his name.
Charlie Mostow came with
He's
me.
great. His wife is great too.
Yeah. And I got three other guys and maybe a woman, um,
All
maybe
local or
local. One guy, uh,
who'd you get? Can you say?
uh, yeah, I can kind a little bit. Uh, well,
I mean, I'm
maybe I
not really
should.
in on the sculpture crowd.
Yeah, maybe let's not say anything yet because it's like I don't want to like embarrass anybody because then if it doesn't work out, then it's like
Gotcha, gotcha.
because
All right, I'll
last
ask you
time,
after we get off the camera. I'm
yeah,
curious.
yeah, last time I fired a lot of people and ended up sculpting more than I wanted to.
So tell
And
me
we have
about so
a
what happened? Were they just not they're not up to par with what you expected?
um
Or was it personality things? The reason
yeah,
I ask is because there are times where I think to myself, I have one employee, but I've got to hire more employees to keep
uh,
productive. And that's a hard
yeah,
thing to do in a lot of because they don't care about your work as much as you do. That's the biggest
yeah,
thing I've found.
yeah, that I think it goes back to in service of.
Hmm.
Um, so when I did the World War One, I didn't know this. I was a spiritual person, but I did not understand the concept of being in service of something greater than yourself.
Hmm.
And then when I got this, I had to get the football across the end zone, that line. And so then now was my responsibility. And if I had to learn how to become a boss, and I had to make sure that we navigated through the waters to get to the other side. And so then it was like the first week, one guy freaking quit in 3 weeks. The
Mm.
first month, he quits in 3 weeks. And it's like I came in at 9:30 and I go, where's this X character? And they're like, he walked out with his microwave. And I was like, did he take his tools? That's the first question I asked. And they said, I don't know. And it's like, okay. And then he like disappeared for 48 hours.
Huh.
Um, and he quit. And then another guy had hired, and I'd known him for 25 years, and he kind of pretended to be better than he was. And I should have fired him in a month, and he ran for a year and a half on salary. And then I brought this kid in who was like, um, and I he'd come to my studio when he was 16 and now he was 21 or 22. And then we had a blow up there because he took 2 weeks off to get his degree. And I was like, you can't do that. We got a schedule. It's like you're messing me up. And then I said, you show up and you got to keep working. And then Tracy kind of lit into him too, because she was like, you can't do this. And he was a lot of excuses, and it was like that was the end of that. And then
Mm-hmm.
at the end, I ended up just having Charlie as my assistant and myself for the last 9 months, just slamming and getting it done. And I
Wow.
think it's different now because I have so much more experience, and I will bring on board people that have been sculpting for 20, 25 years, and they all have a sense of faith and an understanding that this is way bigger than any of us, what we're doing. Because
Yeah.
we're leaving something, we're stewarding something from Western civilization into the present. And then I'm going to hook up all these schools to be docents with the kids and play it into the future. And so we're making like a really important physical object, a symbol of our history. And it's not history so much, it's more philosophy of our history, agency, self-responsibility, manifesting a vision of what's possible. And that's where I saw that our country needs a little help here. We need to step into the brink and kind of make something that's going to play forward and play forward virtues, values, ideals that make you into a more productive citizen,
Mm.
not bitch and moan and tear things down. Build on the past, make it like fresh, new, and not archaeological, and then make it go forward. That's my
Mm.
contribution.
Man, that's so freaking exciting. Well, yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. That's
Thank you, Jeff.
amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. So I'm curious about, well, first of all, let's go back. I want to learn a little bit more about your beginnings. So you went to the Pennsylvania College of Arts. Is that, or design?
College of Art. Yeah,
College of Art.
Philadelphia College of Art. Yeah.
And is that related to PAFA in any way
No,
or?
it was a separate school.
Okay.
Uh, they actually shut their doors about
Okay.
a few years ago. Too many blue-haired freaks running around trying to
Okay.
like be artistes, not
Right.
enough like hardworking stuff. It got taken down because they stopped teaching stuff that would get you an actual education. The art schools have kind of lost their way. Um,
Oh, they lost their way decades ago. I think that the
yeah,
fact they were hanging on till 82 was a miracle.
yeah.
Yeah. So what did you do right after that? When you left school, what did you do? How did you move into a professional career?
I love this. I went back to Italy my senior year
Yeah.
of Philadelphia College of Art. I went back through the Tyler School, and there was this Italian guy, Paolo Carasone.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of this is like I learned the structure of the figure from Tony Visco and Harvey Citron and this other guy, Walter Robacher at Philadelphia, which is a great way to like analyze the figure, deduce what's going on, and you separate it into all these parts. But it's not a unified whole. So, Paolo, beautiful. I could speak Italian with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I really immersed myself in the next 2 years in Rome. Um, and I would have stayed in Rome, but Italy,
So at this
in
point, you're early 20s, mid
it was
20s,
86, 86.
so
I was
about
born in
23.
60. Yeah, I was born in 63 and it's 86.
Okay, so 23.
Yeah, and I remember the last night I was in Rome, and I didn't have a car. I got around on a bicycle.
Hmm.
Um, and I biked from the studio to Piazza um, of St. Peter's. The
At this
Piazza.
point, did your dad kind of get on board, or is he
Yeah, a
still?
little bit. It
Yeah.
was like my drawing. I was really a good draftsman. I um I would draw these red sanguine pencil. I was very gifted at drawing once I started.
Hmm.
I mean, like the teachers bought my drawings. Like the teachers at the school bought my drawings. I didn't know I was selling for $100,
Hmm.
and I drew better than the teachers.
Wow.
Uh, um, and I mean, I think that's such a strong thing because I think all sculpture is very heavy on drawing, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
sculptors can draw to save their lives, and so they don't have that important compositional skill. Look at Michelangelo, how well he
Well, not
drew.
to mention the sense of proportion that drawing requires.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and how you fit things together and compose
Hmm.
things. Uh, and I could have gone painting or I could have gone sculpture, because I compose things all the time with figures.
Hmm.
Um, so I left Rome and I came back and I was like, oh my God, this is so freaking ugly. US is like disgusting. And I would have stayed in Italy, but I just knew I had to
Just
get.
because of the lack of history and aesthetics and the architecture and stuff.
Yeah, we do not have the history of holding on to beauty of the past. Like, I'll give you an example. If you buy a house in Italy, it could be from the 1600s, and then you renovate it.
Hmm.
Here,
Tear it
there's
down.
nothing. You tear it down. You
Have
start
you
over.
seen not the Capitol? You must have seen it if you've been downtown a fair amount. But this gorgeous mixed style, it's kind of Gothic, kind of Greek Revival, kind of classical. It's the county building on the corner of 4th
Yeah.
and State.
Yes.
Is that not a gorgeous building?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we had city council that wanted to tear it down at one point because it cost too much to maintain it.
Yeah.
I'm
Moron.
like, are you
Yeah.
freaking kidding me? You might as well
Yeah.
just rip down the Pietà. I mean, it's like it's probably it's one of the top 3 buildings in the whole city.
Yes.
But there's just a
100%.
group. There's a certain portion of the population that has no thought for beauty and aesthetics. It just blows my mind.
Yeah. Uh, it's a whole conversation about what happened. Um, World War II, it started World War One, where you got like Duchamp's urinal, and it's the anti-aesthetic. It's like let's make stuff that gets rid of any sense of made in the image of God, and the artist now can do anything and say, hey, that's art. So you call it a toilet art,
Hmm.
and then it's like the US comes in and they're like, okay, we're going to differentiate ourselves from Europe and we're going to make our own like version of art. And then it's like this whole like proliferation of like de Kooning and Jackson Pollock, and it's like destructive.
Yeah.
It's it's like anarchy rules. There's no sense of like it's cut off, slice the jugular with Western civilization, and then it's like the education system, it starts to go down that road too. And it's like,
Hmm.
that's the whole thing. That building that you're talking about is like it's made with great um, just craftsmanship and also the proportions and how the parts fit together. The structure is very apparent, and you get a sense when you walk by it of elevated consciousness. You get
Hmm.
uplifted. And so the building you're talking about is like that's something that happens all over the country, and especially in urban centers where you just like destroy and you put up steel glass things that are inhuman. They have nothing to do with human proportions. And so I come back to the US and that's what I'm in. And I was like, I had to readjust. So then, what happens? I dive into the studio and I start drawing 8 to 10 hours a day, just still lives of casts and
Mm.
just crazy. I mean, okay, so I would draw maybe 6 times 10, that's 60 hours a week for a few years on end. And then I went back to the New York
Well, how are you
Academy.
making money during this time?
My first wife was doing freelance editing. And you got to remember, this is like in the late 80s. Our rent was like maybe $350.
What
So
has happened to that city?
yeah,
Wow. Are you
$350 in the Bronx.
serious?
Yeah. So it's like, you could do this. And so,
Wow.
I didn't work, and then I started teaching, but I was not really the breadwinner. I raised my first daughter, and then I was supposed to learn how to, and I got really good because I have very good work ethic. I just I get up and I go to work. I don't care whatever. And this inspiration doesn't happen. It's just you show up at 8:30 and then inspiration starts when you're working.
Right.
I went back to New York Academy and got a refresher course on structure of the figure with one of the students from Walter Erlbacher.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started teaching. And
Privately or?
no, schools. I was teaching, got Philadelphia College of Art
Mm-hmm.
hired me, and I'm teaching 3 sections of anatomy. And I'm
So are you commuting
teaching,
from New York to Philly?
yeah, but I would teach all 3 classes, I 2 days. So one 10-hour day, 2 5-hour classes back to back, and then another half day, another a 6-hour session. So that was it was decent money for me, and I used the money for models. So I would work with models about 35 hours a week, and I kept producing sculptures. And then I started selling the sculptures in Arcadia Gallery with Steve. Steve's a freaking
Really?
weasel. Yeah, Steve Diamond. Hey Steve, I hope you're watching. It's like I know your little scam that you do. It's like sell the art for more than you pay the artists. I know all about it.
Oh, shoot. Called
Yeah.
out. I don't know
Yeah,
anything about
totally.
that, but I'm going to
I
leave
don't
that
know if
on.
he's still doing that, but it's like I know all your little tricks, bro. But I like you anyway. You're the only guy who does like figurative um art in New York City. Um and then it's like I went on my own. I got my own gallery in Chelsea, and that was,
So you rented a storefront.
yeah, I made
It's
my own
wow.
gallery to unveil a piece. It was a continual change, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. And New York is not for artists because it kept getting more and more expensive. And then um, the vision, the dream of
Why don't you
making
just move
Renaissance
upstate
art,
a little bit?
because you're out of it, then you're out of it. You're hiding out. And
Yeah.
I had the vision that I was going to change the art world.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's how crazy I am. And so I'm making these bronze male nudes in New York City, and most of my clients were gay couples, and I did pretty decently actually. Would sell like 3 bronzes a month,
Mm.
and
That's
um,
impressive.
but I'm also a hustler.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a hustler because sculpture requires that you pay for the model, you pay for the molding, the casting, and then you got to market it and get it out there.
Do you not
And
work from photo reference at all?
never,
Never.
never.
Always a 3D model.
Yeah, or
Really?
person.
Not 3D model.
That's
That's what I meant.
yeah, yeah,
Got to watch how
people.
you put it in this world. Because, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's the thing. It's like I sacrificed um my life for this. Oh, my first marriage ended in divorce when my
It's
kid
hard to be
was
married to an
uh,
artist.
yeah, and then I married Tracy, and then Tracy kicked my butt into realizing, hey, you gotta go next. And she was very good for me because it's like I learned how to become even more of a business person and not lose my craft in the meantime. Kept making things.
Yeah.
And so then I got all the way to 2014, and I had made um, Apollo sculpture. This Apollo sculpture
Is
took
that
me
on your
30,
Instagram?
I don't know.
What about
The
your website?
Apollo, it's on my website.
I'll check out your website.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I did 3,500 hours with 2 models every day. That's Apollo. Yeah, I
Wow.
did Aphrodite
Wait a minute.
first
Why
and
did it
then Apollo.
disappear? Oh,
That's Apollo.
dude, is it cast in steel or is that just
Bronze.
the?
That's bronze.
It
Yeah,
looks like a rust patina. That's cool.
that's a small version of it.
Oh,
That's
that's a
the head one.
great head.
Um, so that was like okay, I'm going to make something as good as Michelangelo's David. I mean, this is how crazy I am.
Wow.
And
Oh, look at
um,
that.
and so I get this studio from one of my clients, and it's under a hotel. It's on 22nd Street and 8th Avenue in Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I get another guy who's a friend of mine. He does all the renovations and all the lighting. And then I unveiled that sculpture there. And I thought, okay, I'm going big time now. Everybody's going to learn about it.
Yeah.
It was a wake-up call, Jeff. I did the sculpture. I finished it. It was at the foundry, and I just sat there for a moment and said, I did it. Okay, now let's show the world. And here's how I would just say kind of naive I was. I had done something that was so esoteric. All the work up till that moment was very esoteric. It was like, but I see it as I think, 35 years of sculpting, and then I do this with, I think I had like maybe 25 or 30 different sculptures. That was my first big commission that I got that, and that's my wife actually.
Your current
Um,
wife?
yeah, Tracy. And Tracy's really my best friend, and
That's
she's the
great.
one who's always supported me, and she's brought me to the next level. She's an amazing woman. I mean, I wouldn't
I've
be
heard
here
she's
without
quite
her.
accomplished herself. Someone was
Yeah, she
telling
is.
me.
Yeah, she's a not was a novelist.
Yeah.
She went to Columbia and Yale. She's next level person. So,
Those
but
are beautiful.
here's the weird part. I did the show, nothing happened right away. But one person walked in who was um, associated with the Classical Architects and Artists Association, and then I did a show over it. I moved everything over to their um, uh, uh, offices, and
Mm-hmm.
I unveiled a book that Tracy and I wrote. And then Frank Gehry contacted them and said, I need a sculptor. And that's the connection that I got to Frank Gehry. And then Frank Gehry's project, I didn't, he hired me and then he got a lot of ideas and then it was like didn't go anywhere. But that was kind of like the fire starter because then it put the bug in my ear that like, hey man, do you want to get there and change the art world and get to the next level, then you got to do public monuments. And Frank Gehry's Eisenhower Memorial, he hired another guy because I was like too much of like an opinionated, artist type.
Mm-hmm.
He loved my ideas, but he didn't want to work with me because then it would have been like we're
He
going to
thought you were
split
trouble.
the. Yeah, I'm like, because then it wouldn't have been the Frank Gehry Memorial. It would have been the Frank Gehry / Sabin Howard Memorial.
Right.
But that's the whole thing. It's the beauty of it. It's like you got to be patient and have faith.
Yeah.
And I went through this, and then I applied for the World War I Memorial with some architect out of Texas uh, in 2015, the next year, and then he kind of blew it because he put a roof on this big dome thing, and I said, "You can't do that." They says no roofs, and you put a roof on, and so I knew but we didn't get to the final five, but I knew it wasn't dead yet, and then this kid Joe Weishar called me and he goes, I want you to partner with me. I'm in the final five. And I was like, score. I knew this was going down. And I
Mm-hmm.
get with Joe, Joe's 25, and then we win it. I knew we were going to win. Um, and then it was the long voyage of 4 years going through government agency approval and doing the models and getting through that. And then I sculpted it starting in 2019 till I went to New Zealand to make this model. That's how crazy. I
Oh,
mean,
look
I
at that
really,
little guy. That is
yeah.
too
And
cool.
then,
All right,
yeah,
people, I just should let people know that I've had a slideshow going
that's
for
my
some
daughter.
time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is your daughter going to art? What's she doing?
No, she's in Rome. My daughter is in Rome. And I have another daughter who's a doctor in Albuquerque.
Oh, that's
Uh,
cool.
yeah, look, the voyage it's like a marathon. It's like, Jeff, it's like
Mm-hmm.
marathon. And the thing is, you just got to stay in the game. And
Mm-hmm.
you got to keep getting better and better and better. You can't kind of like take time off. Those were the last pieces I ever did that were for models, nude. I will never go back to doing nudes
Why is that?
because because it's like it's too esoteric. I really want to make a difference. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, you could do like a figure without a shirt on, but a complete nude in a monument is like it's like inappropriate for our culture. That
Well,
was
unless
South
I
Bronx.
would, I would say unless there's like there's a narrative that requires a nude,
Yeah,
right? But just
yeah,
for nude's sake.
right.
Yeah.
I'm really not into any. I love the Renaissance and Greek art and Roman art. I'm so tied to it, but I feel you got to look at that and then play it forward in a way that's like exciting and
Yeah.
get into like people's living room in a way that's like, oh, that look at that what that guy made. It's it's you're not gonna get in
Oh man, you are
That's the
speaking
art
my
world.
language, man.
You got to get out of
I
the art
know.
world.
That's the
It's
whole
the art
reason I'm doing
world.
my
Yeah,
project. One day back in 2008, I just had a crisis and was just like, what am I doing with my life? All I'm doing
totally.
is selling one painting to one rich person that hangs it over their couch. It doesn't change anybody's lives. I mean, it
Right.
makes them happy because it's pretty. I get it, but
Yeah.
and I'm not knocking everybody else's work. I'm not. But for me, I needed to do something that was more meaningful, you know?
The writing was on the wall for you, I bet.
It felt that way, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went after the Apollo thing, it was like, if you keep doing what you're doing, you are going down.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
this is maybe a silly way of looking at it, but I mean, I don't know what you know about me, but I'm working on a project that's not too dissimilar to what you're doing, but mine is the whole life of Christ in painting.
I love it.
And
I love
hopefully
it.
my goal is to have a museum dedicated to Christ downtown that's non-denominational.
Yeah,
And I just imagine, let's say there's an apocalypse and all but a handful of people die in every city. There's maybe 10 or 20 of us in every city. And this museum is standing and and your sculpture is standing. And to me, it feels like it's so
yeah,
much more important that those two things are standing than you go into a house and you see a
totally.
decorative piece over the couch
Oh my
it's like
God.
no one's going to care. That's just going to leave it in the house because,
Yeah.
right? I don't know. Maybe I'm offending all of my guests right now and I'm
No, I don't
sorry.
think you got
But
to
for me
speak the truth.
personally, I just had to do something. I don't even know. I hesitate to even say meaningful to me,
Yeah,
because I don't want to be judgmental of because I'm sure everything is meaningful to every artist, right? But for me, what I was doing wasn't enough.
you got to think bigger. I think it's really important what you said that about, well, you said, well, I don't want to offend anybody else about like just making art. But I think you're bringing a really healthy suggestion to the table by saying that, because I don't think that artists should be that selfish where they just make art for themselves. I think it's very important that you have a healthy life, and I'm going to define it. It's then you're interacting with society and you have a purpose external to just making something for yourself, which is very selfish. It's
It
making
is.
something, and then there's an interaction with other people. And I think that only makes an artist feel like needed and okay, I got a value in my community and in society. And I think the modernists have done a great disservice to the artists, saying, "Oh yeah, you go do your thing. You're an isolated thing, and you're not interconnected with the rest of the world." It's like bad
Oh,
news,
I know. And we even make up our own symbols and stuff, and no one even understands them.
cryptic BS.
Right. And it's like, oh, I remember meeting, and I'm going to put this in quotes. I remember meeting an artist once, and she did a lot. I mean, you know, I'm not going to say her name, so I'll just say it. It was terrible. I mean, mediocre abstract painting. There are some good abstract painting. This was mediocre abstract. But she put a little red square in every one of her paintings. And at one point, she was with a group of women, and she was explaining this. My wife was present, I think, is why I remember this or why I know this. She was explaining what this red square meant. And I don't even remember what it meant, but it seemed like nonsense to me. And I was just like, no one's going to know if they didn't come to this event. You're not speaking a common language. You just put a little red square in all of your paintings, and it means nothing to anyone but you. Who are you talking to?
Yeah,
Right. And yeah, so that's exactly how I feel. I feel like, when I was going through that crisis in '08, I genuinely had feelings like that where I've spent the last 7 years just developing this attitude of secluded, mysterious art genius in my studio. Right. And it's what my feelings that matter. It's my life that matters. It's what genius comes into my mind that matters. And I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but there was some of that in there. And then at some point, I'm just like, this is all bunk. Who
yeah,
the freak cares what I think?
Yeah,
Like I
it
got to
doesn't
do
matter.
something bigger than me. No, I
Yeah,
mean, who am I?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And it doesn't
That's
have to be Jesus or America. It could be anything, but for me, it would happen to be religious. For you, it happens to be or not political, patriotic. And so, but there's so many other big things out there
yeah.
to tap into.
You're bringing up in service of.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
You are in service of something greater than yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it simple.
It does, but doesn't it complicate things too? Because then it adds a lot of weight to the process to me. At least it does for me, where it's just, oh man, what have I now? If you're just doing one-off paintings, a painting a week or whatever, in your case, a sculpture, however long it takes you to sell in a gallery, and there's not a lot at stake because you just move to the next thing after you've sold it or not sold it, right? You move to the next one and then the next one. But when you're doing a project like you're doing and like I'm trying to do myself, there's a lot at stake. I mean, you're sacrificing many, many, many years of your life to
Yeah.
potentially be dissatisfied with what you accomplish.
Well, I'm dissatisfied with everything I
I
make.
know, me too. That's my point. So it's like, it's
But
one thing
that's
to be dissatisfied in a week and then get a fresh start on Monday and do another sculpture and get a fresh start on Monday. But when you put 7.5 years, and in my case, it's going to be 20 years into a project, freak, man, it's for me at least, it's stressful because this thing it's got to be good. Because
yeah.
you'll look back and say, what the hell did I do with the past 20 years of my life?
Well, at least you tried.
Yeah, it's true.
I,
Well, that's why I'm
and I
doing it.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think if you don't, uh, I think what people don't always want to get on the edge and be their best version.
Yeah.
And I think that, but I think if you get on the train, it's like, all right, I'm on the train, I'm going to be my best version. It's like there's no getting off.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like we're going to do or die here. And I think ultimately, I like being in process, like making. And so it's like, okay, being in process is the best thing. I don't really care about anything I've made in the past, and it's just I just want to get back in the studio and keep going.
Yeah.
So I'll do a lot of sacrificing of like there's a lot of gestation period before you get on a monument. 4 years on the last one. This one's been probably be about 2, 3 years, and then you go, and then that's all you do for
Mm.
and then you got a big block of time. Like so, I got models then for the next 7.5 years, and so we'll
So you're
make.
paying these people full time, basically.
Oh yeah, we're talking millions of dollars.
You got salaried models.
Some will, but
That's
they stay as
insane.
long as they want to. Like I pay them $35 an hour, and then they have to kind of stay for a figure, or we have a cutoff. And I don't hire people that are flaky at all. It's like I go get people at CrossFit, and they're specimens, and they're tough people. And I don't work with art models. I work with gym people that then morph into
Oh, of
becoming
course.
models.
Yeah. Art models are
And
rarely the
yeah,
same.
they're there every day. And we don't
Yeah.
sculpt unless you got the model in front of you. And so then it has a very vibrant feel. And so you got let's look at the picture. You got myself, and then I got four sculptors, and then we got that makes five models. That's 10 employees. And then you got a project manager and an assistant to the project manager. Tracy's my
Dude,
project manager.
you're running a serious business.
Yeah, and then you got like a PR organization, then you have a lawyer, and then you have um, an accountant,
Yeah, your
and then
accounting's complicated. You got to deal with like workers'
yeah,
comp and
yeah,
insurance and
yeah,
taxes and
right, yeah,
oh,
and so
dude, does your wife help you with this stuff?
yeah, that's she's project manager,
Oh,
and
dude,
then
you're
we have
lucky to have her, man.
yeah, very, very, very lucky. And then the we have an accountant who's on board. And now I'm building a whole community. I'm building a commission, a board.
Mm.
Um, And the governor, Scott Anderson, the president of Zion's Bank, is on organized. And Howard Headley, who's like a Utah Bank's president, and Wayne Niederhauser, who was a former president of the House. He's on board. It's like I do this thing where I bring all these people together because we got to do something really important. And
So what is the advantage of having these big names on the board? Are they also patrons, or is it just that they're movers and
no,
shakers?
they're movers and shakers, and but the advantage is it's more about honesty and integrity. It's like they all believe in the same message that the
Hmm.
art carries, a story. And you're a painting of the story of Christ. It's like that is the critical aspect. You are doing something that's outside of yourself. It's
Hmm.
you are bringing your individual experience to the creation of those compositions and what the models are and how the lighting is and
Hmm.
how what's the eye level and what's the composition and how do all the figures interact. That's you. That's your personal DNA.
Right.
There's never been another person like you, Jeff, on the planet. That is an individualistic vision, but you're telling a universal story.
Man,
And
did you
that's,
ever hit that on the head? That is the key to originality.
yep,
Just stop trying to be original. You were born original.
yep, that's it. That's exactly right.
There's no
So
other Jeff. There's no
you
other
can't
Sabin.
screw it
Well, there's
up.
another Jeff and Sabin, but there's no other me and you.
Yeah, you can't screw it up. You
Yeah.
just gotta go 100%. It's all the way down on the gas, and
Yeah.
you got to be able to recover. And so it's like I bike every day. I bike like up. I go up Little Cottonwood Canyon. I ride, probably an hour and a half to
Dude,
two
you're one of
hours.
those guys I drive by and think, how the
Yeah,
heck do they do that?
yeah, I do that every day because I got to
Wow.
be in my best version, mentally and physically, to get through
Good for you, man.
the stress of would kill other people because the unknowns are that is the life of the artist is the life of not knowing what is coming.
Hmm.
And just accept it. And so then you got to grow into the position, and I think that's where a lot of people turn to like drinking and smoking pot, and it's like, oh, I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and have a little toke, and then it's all of a sudden you're like, that's the end of you. It's like you
Hmm.
screwed it good.
Hmm.
So I have a very clean life.
Good for you, man. That's amazing. Well, so tell me a little bit about what this process is going to look like for this. I mean, well, first of all, let me ask a specific question because I just remembered it. I was thinking about it while you were talking, but um, you're not going to be sculpting nude models anymore, but you are getting these incredible physiques from gyms. And so my assumption is they're either going to be undraped completely or in some sort of leotard or something. How do you do that with the models?
Everything is costume because it's a history
So why do they
piece.
need to be in great shape then if they're costumed?
Because the things that you do see, like your face
Yeah, you want chiseled jaw lines and
and and
good forearms. Yeah.
arms and legs and posture
Okay.
and proportions. So we'll take costumes, and I don't dress the models the way that you would normally. The clothing is skin tight in places, so they're busting out of the costumes, and so the body shows through
Really?
in everything I do. And the drapery adds more drama because you run into flutes of the drapery around the body, and you're setting up
Where did you pick
um,
that up from? I don't think I would have been smart enough to figure that one out.
Michelangelo.
Well, obviously he didn't tell you, but you just noticed it.
Look at it. Look at the Libyan Sibyl.
All right, I'm going to look this up real quick. Hold on here.
Let's find the Libyan Sibyl. Because
Okay.
the beauty of this is like, I'm not copying that. I'm not trying to be archaeological, but I'm like, oh, that's what he did. Okay, make it contemporary. So you could do that with a figure that's from the 20th century by just you you pin the pants so the quads are popping through the pants.
This is Libyan Sybil is a sculpture, right?
Libyan Sibyl is a painting. It's
Oh,
one,
because forgive me, I'm terrible with names. Okay, that's a painting.
yeah, from the Sistine Chapel, but look at the back. Can you pop it up on the screen,
Yeah, one
please?
sec. I'm just trying to find it here. Okay, I
And
think
so
I
that,
got it.
and then you look, yeah, look at that. Look at how, do you see the body? And look at the calf
Okay.
and, the knee
Yeah,
and,
yeah, look at that.
and the drapery enhances the figure. So we're not
So you're
doing,
trying to find that perfect marriage between
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
beautiful aesthetic of folds and
Yes. And
with the body
spiraling.
underneath.
So everything's composed to increase the dynamism of the action. So you
Yeah.
got this like the folds that drive you forward. You look at the World War I memorial. I'd never done drapery before in my life. And then it was like, okay, how do we make this exciting? It's kind of like look at the maybe the third one, that one. That's where we're starting. It's not
Oh,
as
you're
we're
right.
not
He's kind of
tight.
ripping out of his
Yeah.
coat here.
So everything, nothing's too baggy. We're always looking at how do I make the force of the form underneath the clothing become the primary concern?
Dude. I realize sculpture is different than painting because
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
deal with light and shadow in the same way we deal with light and shadow.
yeah,
Obviously, you want to compose light and shadow
right.
in a way, but not in the same way we do, where it is the critical to the illusion of three dimensionality, right? Because obviously
It's
yours is just it is three dimensional.
it's really you're looking at a body more than a
Right,
painting. And I know because I used to draw a lot.
right.
You're really looking at constructing the figure, and then there are all these ways that we take the drapery and we make it spin around the form so that your eye travels around from like a frontal view to a side view,
Yeah.
and that those the um, the beauty of making a sculpture well is that the forms like are enhanced by the insertions of the drapery, so it gives more force. So you can see how, look at the female figure. Do you see how the line runs to her knee? So that line on her quad from her
Yeah.
glutes to her knee, it's going right to her patella, and it's an arrow. So there's a lot more abstraction than most people do. I'm thinking, how do I make the life force energy super apparent? By
You could see her
insertion.
lats in there and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Insertion and origin are always on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also not a modern way of composing. So I'm looking at a lot of, actually, I don't like the French sculptors as much, like Carpeau, but the operatic quality of like Paris Opera House with the three women, like something like that, where they're interacting and you get all these movements and spirals. I really like putting figures together. I can see the Pietà figure on the left of the screen with the dead soldier being lifted by
Yeah, that
her.
was inspired by Pietà.
Yeah, that's definitely a Pietà scene. And then the next figure could be like is there
Hmm.
I cannot help it. I grew up in Italy. I was like baptized in a Catholic church. I'm surrounded by this Renaissance art and Bernini, and it's like, how can you not?
Okay. Who do
It
you
goes in
like
your
better,
head.
Michelangelo or Bernini?
I like Michelangelo. He's my favorite.
He
Michelangelo's
is?
really my
Oh, I love
favorite,
Bernini. I don't know what
and
it
I,
is.
and I like um, earlier work of Bernini. Bernini is, I gravitate towards the drama of Italian opera
Hmm.
for my next. And I think, Jeff, your work is about storytelling. You have to go towards Bernini to tell the story. So I look at Bernini for telling the story. How do you
Yeah.
do the opera of the composition?
Hmm. Wow.
They're
S-
paintings. They're
well,
3D paintings. That's what I
they
do. I do
are. You
3D
know,
painting.
I've almost, on both of your sculptures, this one and the one you're going to be doing in Salt Lake, they're obviously in the round,
Yeah.
but there's also sort of an exaggerated relief sculpture quality to them.
Yes, yes, totally,
Yeah.
totally. So I'm glad you said it because what I'm doing is I'm mixing pictorial space with sculptural space,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and so this is like very new. I mean,
Yeah, you're
I have
forcing the viewer to work their way around the sculpture or
yeah,
across the sculpture.
yeah,
Yeah.
and really, I think I'm kind of looking at it from a new perspective because I composed that starting like with a photograph, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the photograph became a drawing, and then we went 3D after that. But I took it as like, okay, you got a principal view, and then these figures are going to be seen as two-dimensional, and they're cut out. How do you compose that on a tableau?
Yeah.
And so that's really a painting. And then I took the painting, and now you're blowing it out. It's like on steroids. Now you're going 3D.
This episode is brought to you in part by Rosemary Brushes. If you're one of my listeners who's a professional artist, you're already using Rosemary Brushes. But for the rest of you, come on. Take your work a little more seriously. Stop buying the other brands. It's just not worth it. Every now and then you may get lucky and buy a good brush from another brand, but use the brand that professionals like myself are using. Go to rosemaryandco.com, link in the description or the show notes, and get yourself some quality brushes before your next painting.
Yeah. That's amazing. This is so much fun to look at. I
Thank you.
am so honestly, you're an inspiration because
Thank you.
if I it just makes me want to see the end of my project so bad.
Just keep going.
I will. I'm not giving up. I'm not
Yeah.
giving up. At least not yet.
And
I guess
I
something
think,
could kill me, something could make me
yeah.
stop, but I don't
Well,
know what that is.
I think Salt Lake is kind of like could be really an important place artistically. I don't know what will happen when I finish this project. I don't know where I'll be called to. I don't know if I'm staying here or not. It's like, but right now I'm here for 8 years.
Yeah.
And and you're doing this painting, you're doing this heroic scale paintings with many multiple figures in it. And I don't see any other place in the country that they're doing that.
No, Utah. Well, Salt Lake is not particularly packed with artists of our taste necessarily, but the Utah is, especially Utah
Yeah.
County,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
so strange. Why Utah County? I don't get it. But
Well, isn't it tied to LDS? Like
there's a
more,
lot of theories about what it is in Utah. My theory is that back when you were in school in Pennsylvania in 1982, 3 years before that, we had a teacher die named Alvin Gittens who had taught at the U for like 20 years. So before 1982, and this guy was a premier portrait painter. And so this is right in the middle of the modern art movement. And here in Utah, we've got Alvin Gittens over University of Utah. And it's just like this island among a country of
yeah.
universities that are teaching modernism. And so I feel like what's happened here is this is the posterity that's left behind from this guy that was way ahead of his time, which
Mm,
seems backwards. A lot of people be like, no, he's behind his time. Well, things change. I mean, people are wearing mullets again, like
yeah.
there's a cycle in these things, and realism is coming back with a vengeance. And this guy, Alvin Gittens, was way ahead of that back in
Yeah.
the 1960s and 70s. That's
I
my
would like to
theory, but I don't know.
I'd like to see what happens with the next generations, like who will pop up. And I think also a lot of the things that are going on in New York City and the East Coast and LA and all the art fairs are just complete trash
Hmm.
um, in terms of like the nihilism of the figure. I don't think it's a healthy thing to continually paint figures that are like gruesome and bloody, even like odd nerdrum figures. There, it's just like this nihilistic nightmare. It's like, what is that doing? It's there's more to the world out there, and I'm I've been ostracized by the figurative art world because I don't think I play into that. I see the figure as like, do something that's rises to the occasion.
What
And I
figurative
don't
art world
see,
are you ostracized by? I've never talked to anyone that said anything negative about you.
well, it's not negative, but it's like, like they have the um, figurative a meeting with all these painters that do the figure, and I'm not even on the radar. And I know Jacob Collins doesn't have me come in do stuff there. It's just I don't care really.
Hmm.
I think what I'm doing is bigger than all the art world stuff because I'm moving out of the art world and into like mainstream. And I think that's where you actually make a difference when you get out of an insular environment where everybody's like in a system And it's like, that's why I broke out of the system, because I saw that if you keep going in the same routine of the galleries or doing private stuff like you were doing for people's homes and stuff, you're never going to go anywhere. You kind of like throwing yourself up against a wall, because it's it's a cage it's controlled. So you want to break out of the cage and go more like limitless. There is no, you know, there's nothing blocking you. And so, I mean, that's my idea. That's why I'm making figures that can't even be contained by the frame of the composition.
Yeah, I gotta ask you about this though. You probably get this all the time because I know I do. I've been really blessed with a good career, and oftentimes people will call me and say, Jeff, how do you do it? What are you doing? And they think that you did mention you have to learn to be a businessman, and I agree with that. But oftentimes I have to say, dude, you just got to keep working on your work. They're looking
Yeah.
for the silver bullet. They're looking for me
There
saying,
isn't one.
you just call so and so and he'll change your life.
It's not there.
No, it's like, I couldn't have done what I'm doing 15 years ago. No one would have taken me seriously,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta have the product before you can get the job,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what you just said is so inspiring and true. But the reason I bring that up is because I think a lot of people are like, okay, then before I have any training at all, I'm going to go out there and find the work and make a difference. It's like, whoa, 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 slow down. Like, get your product in line, figure out,
Yeah.
like, don't just figure it out, but make it good. And
The
then
product is everything.
it's
It's
everything. You can't sell nothing. You can't sell a bad
yeah.
product. Doesn't matter who you know.
It's the whole game is
Yeah.
like your skill level and your product.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing else. And you live and die on that hill. And so um, if you don't produce it, um, that means it's not going to happen. And if you don't get good enough, it's not going to happen either, which means you got to figure out a way, a system. It's a system, like how am I going to like what can I sacrifice to get to that place?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. It really does come down to sacrifice.
Yeah.
I mean, I suspect you don't have a huge social life,
Um,
meaning you're not out every evening eating with
no,
friends and
no,
stuff.
I don't do that. I'm, uh, I'm quiet because it's like I have a lot of connections with people,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to organize something that's very large. So I've been here for a year.
You've been here a year already?
Yeah, 1 year,
Wow. Okay.
March. And I think I know like maybe 300 people.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot, dude. Holy
Yeah.
moly. Is it all
Yeah.
related to your business or your neighbors and
Yes.
everything else?
Neighbors too now.
Okay,
But
good.
almost, yes. And my whole neighborhood, they heard I was moving here. And then I got a pile of cookies, like so
That's it.
every night.
There's
bring
Utah,
cookies.
man.
Yeah.
You're gonna get
And
cookies when you move in.
yeah, next week I got I'm going to do a community outreach. People are coming over. I met like all these people that are getting on board the project.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, but it's like, I know I just, I'm here to like do something, and I got to get everybody organized around it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went up to the Capitol. Um, it's like I meet all these people,
Yeah.
and I'm not, I'm pretty humble. I don't think I'm like anything special at all. It's
Yeah.
kind of like I make sculpture, and it's like, hey guys, come on, I want you to help me get this thing done.
Well, I think if you thought you were special, you probably wouldn't have gotten where you're at. You would have decided you're already pretty special before you were trained and never stopped growing or stopped growing.
Just work. It's like the weightlifting and doing a 225 bench pressing. It was like, okay, keep doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then you're going, why do they call it resistance training? Because that's what
It's
it is.
supposed to hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to hurt. And it's like it's resistance training, like on a really deep level of your humanity.
That's interesting. That's a really interesting way to put it because I think oftentimes people are surprised when I say I don't always enjoy art.
Of course you don't.
But I don't enjoy working out either, and I do that every week, several times a week at least.
Right.
And I actually hate it, frankly, but I love the outcome of being
You want to be
healthier.
your best version, Jeff.
Right.
You want to
But
be the
painting's
best
the
Jeff.
same thing. It's like I don't enjoy every minute behind the canvas. In fact, some days I really don't want to be doing it. But what I want to be is I want to do something great.
Yeah.
So I
That's,
suffer through it sometimes.
yeah. But that's what you're not on the planet to be happy. You're on the planet to have purpose.
Yeah, I
And so
agree. 100%.
purpose requires dedication, and success comes from dedication, becoming good at your skill. And
Yeah,
it's not like anything but hard work and intelligence. So you never make the same mistake twice. Never
that is
make the
so
mistake
true.
twice. If you screwed something up, you will never do it again.
Did you notice that when teaching? I
Yeah.
found that the students that really they really have great careers after studying are the ones where you tell them something
They get it
and they
right away.
just get it. No
They
one's
get it.
born a great painter or sculptor,
No.
but there are certain people that are born with a certain artistic IQ that if
Yeah.
you say, don't do that again, that's wrong, here's the right way,
Yeah.
they put it in their mental library and they never do it again.
I can explain it because I taught for 20 years.
Yeah.
Uh, the ones that actually are successful are the ones that believe in objective truths and objective values. So they're looking for the right way to do it, not like I can do it my way. It's
Yeah.
the right way. And so there's the type of work that we're involved in has objective realities that if you don't do it in a specific way and have this sort of like a pathway of going from general to specific with a deep understanding that the structure can never be lost, and then you can build on top of that structure and you don't want to make the details too important within the whole. That's the objective truth, and that comes out of like the concept that there's defining truths that are true and they're defining truths that are just false. So that's what those are the students that actually get it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's sort of related, but a couple thoughts came to mind as you were talking about that. One was we have a model session here 3 times a week, and one of my students here is very good. They're all very good now because I have nothing but advanced students at this moment. But this particular student, she's also modeling at a public, open model session,
Wow.
and which is interesting because I taught her to paint and draw. She's the model at a public place, which means that the model is leaps and bounds, and no one realizes it, leaps and bounds ahead of everyone drawing her. And no one even realizes it. Now, this isn't the model that said this. She's humble, but I know this, right?
Wow.
So she comes to me the other day and she was telling me about something that she found kind of funny because she gets off the model stand, puts her robe on, starts walking around, and she meets this artist who apparently went to school with me 20 something years ago, who knew me. And she looked at her work of the drawing of her. And after 20 years, it was still very amateur. We went to same school, which, it wasn't a school that taught us much, but we went to the same school 20 years later, still amateur work. And the woman said to her, to my student, the thing is, like, this is the style that I settled on. This is, and my student was just like, can you believe she said that? And I said, I know it's unfortunate because at some point sometimes people will just go into denial, about the fact that they need that objective truth that you're talking about. And the world keeps feeding them lies saying, no, it's all about how you feel. It's all about, it's what
Yeah,
you
exactly.
bring to it. It's
That's
your
exactly.
voice. Yeah.
It's nonsense. That's
And I
complete
said to a
bunk.
model the other day, a model on our model stand, I said to her, I said, hey, do you ever collect the drawings from the people that draw you? She said, no, I used to, but not so much anymore. She goes, I do find it really fascinating walking around and seeing all the different styles and all the different interpretations of me. And I said something that she didn't like very much. And I said, I don't mean this to be offensive, but you're not seeing styles and interpretations. You're seeing weaknesses and incompetency.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, well, that's okay. But it's a fact. Models all the time will say that, all these styles, it's so interesting. No, it's just that person's weakness next to that person's weakness, next to that person's weakness. And I think it's just unfortunate that a lot of times people aren't seeing that they're missing these principles or this relative truth that you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, we're living in a world where I'm okay, you're okay, and that's like garbage.
Right. You're perfect just the way you are.
Yeah. Not
Like,
everybody gets a medal.
no, no, no. And you know
Yeah.
what? If I die perfect just the way I am, I wasn't really working hard enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's nonsense. It's
Because
complete
I'll
nonsense.
never be perfect. Why live? What are you even doing the next day?
Yeah.
If you're already perfect.
Yeah.
But
It's like it always goes back to the big picture. Part of it is they zero in too much on all the parts,
yeah.
and then the parts don't fit holistically into the whole, and it's not unified. It's a very simple formula. It's a formula, whatever. It's always look at the big picture. How do we get the whole thing correct and then go in? And I think a lot of people then don't make the parts fit within the whole so that you don't get that cohesive movement. It's this
Hmm.
part goes that way, the structure got cranked wrong. It's very interesting. The geometry falls apart. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
it's very cool to be running a shop with sculptors under you, and then you're basically teaching.
Hmm.
You're teaching them, and they're getting paid.
Yeah.
And so
That's cool
now,
for them.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool for them, and it's not cool because then it's like, I don't like what you did, and here's why.
Right.
And it's not like in school where it's like, how do you feel about it? And
Oh, I don't know. I would thrive in your environment. I would love that.
well, that's what maybe you need to do is get some of these students, like you could get like commissions and you get them working on it.
Yeah,
And
well, my
that would be
children, I'm raising
cool.
up my children and they've expressed interest in that. And the problem with painting, I haven't seen the possibility, and maybe my vision is sort of, I don't know, maybe it's not broad enough, but in painting, I feel like once a painter gets good enough, they don't want to work for another painter.
Yeah,
So to find a painter, when I have a student that I train up to be good enough to help me with my work, they only want to see their signature on the painting at that point.
yeah.
And so I don't know why it's working for you, but I haven't found that formula yet.
Well, you pay, maybe it's the pay, how much I pay them.
Yeah, maybe that's it. You pay them enough, anyone will do it,
And
right?
how big the project is,
That's a good
because
point. That's a good point.
basically then it's like, okay, I got you for 7 or 8 years, but then you're going to be a made man if you go out there and,
That's a
and
good point. That's a good
and
point.
and the training that you get here is nowhere, no other place you can get
Oh, I
what I'm
can't even imagine, dude. I if
because
it
no
oh
nobody's making monuments. Nobody's making monuments. It's like so
no.
historic. I'm
No.
not bragging. I'm not.
No, I don't think you are. But you've created something that any student would envy to be being part of something like that or seeing someone else be
Yeah,
part of something like that. If there was a painting version of your studio when I was young, I would have killed to be your assistant.
there's a lot of people. The sculptors that I had last go around under World War I, they didn't want to get in that space of like what you're talking about. They didn't want to have my signature on their work because basically what happens is they'll set up and they'll bring it to a percentage like 65%, and then I'll get on it and I'll completely move everything
Mm-hmm.
and recompose a little bit and shift it and make it more cohesive. And then I do all the heads, I do all the hands on everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pop out a head in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so 80 hours with the model on it for the head
Mm-hmm.
done. And so that's like,
Man, that adds up. That's a lot of
yeah,
hours. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's consistent. I'm very consistent. Um,
Hmm.
I'm very lucky that way that I don't have bad days.
Yeah.
I never have a bad day. I never have a panic day.
When you say a
Maybe
bad day, meaning like I just completely blew it today on the sculpture, or do you mean psychologically you don't have a bad day?
Oh, I have tons of psychologically bad days,
Right.
but I
Okay.
never blow it on. I never mess up the
Well,
sculpture.
I mean, you've been doing that. I feel the same way. I mean, I mess up the way I always mess up. I'm consistently sucky. That's how I look at it. It's like I'll never be as good as I want to be, but at least I'm consistently
We're always getting, the piece is always getting better. It's
right.
never,
It's consistent. Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
never going backwards.
right, right.
It's like you don't, I never do anything that I then have to trash. It's just refine it, tweak it, keep
Mm-hmm.
tweaking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an interesting thing. I'm better at the large scale. I spent 35 years doing small scale stuff, so my design got very complete. And then going to big scale, it's like um, you can take that design and really amplify it because you got more of a statement with the scale.
Yeah.
And that's a real, it's like I've been a very long, long career of um, patience. Like, and I didn't do a life-size figure for almost 15 years,
Wow.
just up to 36 inches. And that would take as long as a life-size piece. I'd
That's the
spend,
problem is they're
it takes
just
as
the
long,
same. It's the same
14 months.
information. Yeah.
Yeah, 14 months to do is, I mean, it's exactly the same. It's just smaller.
There's got to be a little bit added time just because you got to move around more material.
No, because um, you'd think, but it gets finickier when it's little, so
Oh,
you
that's a
can't
good point.
you have to be even more precise and careful.
That's true.
And
I
so
was looking at that little head, and that's what I was thinking.
the
Where was that?
transition, the
Yeah.
transitions are harder because of the scale when you go small, but it teaches you the cohesiveness.
Yeah. Where was that little head I saw? It was like a little mock-up. Do you remember? It had a
No,
bullet in its chest or something, or a brass tube.
that keep all this is life size and larger.
Is it? No, no, no. This one wasn't. I'm positive because I saw your hands next
Oh,
to it.
the little one.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, that was the New Zealand. I had a help with that with other sculptors at Weta Workshop. They did a lot of the little stuff for me because
Okay.
they do a lot of like figurines and dolls. So that's why
I
I went
can't
over
find it.
there. Yeah, it was farther down. It's going to be farther down
Okay.
because it's just time. It's sequential. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep going.
My internet's not quite as fast with this connection today.
Yeah, there's a lot of years on that Instagram
Holy
thing.
moly. Yeah, you're good with this. Jeez.
We just kept posting
That's
it's just
remarkable. Does your wife help you with social media and stuff too?
no, I just pop up every once in a while I pop something up.
Okay.
I don't I just kind of like share everything.
Oh man, I love
I'm not
these clay versions. They're so beautiful. That's got to be so fulfilling to see
It was
that. You
interesting.
made that, dude.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. We gotta really um but it's taking it apart, putting it together. Yeah, I have a very, very good foundry, Pangolin Editions foundry in the UK where we make the
Wait. You ship all this stuff to the UK
yes, I
and
do.
then back.
Yes.
Is the foundry that we have in Alpine not good enough?
I don't want to be mean.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. I
Yeah,
think you
you can
just said
cut.
it though.
Yeah, that I got 200 we remember it was COVID, we had the COVID thing.
Yeah,
I never went to the foundry. I shipped them the clays, original clays in
all the
containers.
way to Great Britain.
Yes, in bolted this whole framing system in shipping
Dude, that
containers.
alone it had to cost you hundreds of thousands of
Yes,
dollars just
yes,
in shipping.
yes,
Dude, you are working at a whole nother economic level.
yes.
That is
We're looking,
mind
this
blowing.
next project, we're looking at 50 to 60 million dollars to produce.
That's actually not that bad. Like
No,
that's pretty
not
affordable. I mean, I don't have $50 million, but I would have expected it to be more, to be honest with you, after seeing the
it,
drawings.
it Yeah, it should be more, but we have a system, and that's working
Wow.
with we're looking at 1,000 hours per figure, 1,000 hours per figure,
Mm-hmm.
and on the panels, these were 750 hours per figure.
Will you hire an
And
architect to and a construction company to do the granite part of it, or is that all part of your?
yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah, we have Arch Nexus here in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's kind of funny. It's like I'm running a big project with I got architects, landscape, um, and then I allocate and we organize get
Dude,
the
you are
financing.
hardcore.
Yes, it's
Oh my
very
gosh.
stratified. And Tracy is project manager, and we have all these other people on fundraising, and it's a
Good for
it's a
you, dude.
it's
So let me ask you a question about this. So you ship it to England, and then they must ship it back in pieces because
no,
wait, but it
no,
looks like you're doing all the welding, or is that in their?
no, that's them.
This is their
And
foundry.
yeah,
Oh,
that's why I have to go there, because it's like, the foundry has 200 people, employees. And then some of them have been around for 30 years. So these guys are really, really good. And the castings are incredible. I mean, I'm getting fingerprints on my castings. And then that was assembled without me there, off of my maquette, which is, in front. And
yeah.
then there's just, and I would sculpt it, and I would do all these measurements and drop all these pins in and give them the measurements between pins so that they could reassemble, but really it only fits together one way. So um, there's
Yeah.
no, a lot of times I've found in American foundries, and I don't want to like, disparage anybody. Um, Sometimes people get creative in foundries here, whereas there's more, the ego gets checked at the door, and it's like, the foundry's not going to try to improve on what the artist did. It's
Mm.
just going to put it back together, and then the artist is going to advise. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
I haven't, like I said, I haven't done a lot of sculpture. I sculpt for the
it's
purpose of
very,
painting,
yeah,
but like if I need an animal, I'll sculpt it because I can sculpt from imagination better than I can paint from imagination, and then I'll light it and stuff. But I've had some stuff done at foundries around Utah. You know, I did an elephant once, and it came back in the tusk that I spent so many hours making perfectly smooth. This tusk came back all bent and dented and tweaked out. I was like, what the heck, man? I spent
yeah,
so many hours.
yeah. Well, that's part of it. It's like you got
Yeah.
to find the right place, and really, I'm just not, um, I'm just not gonna. I don't have the time because I'm making a sculpture, so I gotta like allocate, and you got to get people that you don't have to check.
Yeah. And you really
And
trust these people. You feel like they
yeah,
bring it back and it is pristine.
it's exactly what it's supposed to be.
That's amazing. You know, it's so hard to trust people these days.
Yeah,
I mean, from getting someone to build you a fence to a foundry, it's nearly
yeah,
impossible.
yeah,
So good for
and
you.
yeah, and I want to make the same system this time in the studio with the sculpture, where
Yeah.
not everybody's going to be like, get it to wherever we want to be, but they're going to be on the right road. So we're
Right.
not going to deviate. And so then that's the whole thing. It's like you got a big projects like this, you need to have really competent people underneath you, and the real sense that we're all working together, and nobody's egos gets in the way if they don't, you say, hey, that's not the way we're going to do it, and then they're not going to have a hissy fit and go like, oh my God, how you messed up what I did. And it's like what you did doesn't matter. It's like we all just got to go forward.
Yeah. And they
Check
get
the
to
ego at the
sculpt every
door.
day instead of sitting in a cubicle, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's a
Could you imagine
gift.
8 years, and you're 7 years, probably 7.5, and you sculpted like Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 every day.
Dude, if your assistants aren't incredible by the time they're done with that,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that would be quite sad, frankly.
Isn't that pretty cool? But
Yeah.
those people are going, and they're going to get paid like six-figure salaries.
Jeez Louise, that is a gift, man.
Yeah, but they got kids, and they're going to have to work under me, which I'm not pleasant. This is this is
They
very
might get
different.
yelled at occasionally,
I don't say, I don't
insulted maybe.
I No, I've gotten better. I don't give a lot of praise. I don't give a lot of praise,
Yeah.
and then I do. The praise is you didn't get fired. I don't. I'm
Hey,
not
you're
being
still here. You must be something.
right. Well, it's
Oh, shoot.
professional. It's professional. Do you expect somebody to come and say, "Hey, Jeff, that was amazing what you painted"? I don't. Do you think
Well,
you
you know what
expect?
though? That's where you and I are quite different. I am a praiser. I'm very blunt, but I'm blunt on both ends. So if
Oh,
you do something that sucks, I'll tell you it sucks. If you do something that's great, I'll pour praise on you.
yeah, I'm
So
not so good at that.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
just how I am. It's just a genetic thing. A lot of my family's that way. But so yes, because I'm that way, I sort of also I don't expect it, but I sort of crave the same treatment, you know?
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I get what you're saying. I mean, and honestly, with the gift you're giving these guys or girls, and at a over $100,000 a year to be able to sculpt and train with a master and do something so profound. I
We're
mean,
changing
I
history.
would take not having a compliment for 10 years to have that opportunity.
Well, it's I take care of people that give themselves to the project.
Yeah.
Like Charlie Mostow came with me from New York. He drove his own truck,
Mm-hmm.
took his wife Jess and their son Des, and he's on salary. And it's been rough this year because I'm putting the project together. You're in transition,
Mm-hmm.
and but he's dedicated, and I'm dedicated to people that work underneath me. It's like you give me your all, and you will be taken care of, and you will be in a better place when you exit my studio.
Yep. It's a fair trade.
It's
Actually,
a it
I think that someone
Yeah.
studying under you is getting the better end of the deal, frankly. But
Oh, no, well, you can't do this without a team.
no,
So
you can't. It's just every artist, every aspiring artist's dream
yeah,
to be able to go back to an
you need
environment that, for the most part, only took place prior to the 20th century, where you could go into a
yes,
master's studio
yes.
and be trained by a true master. I mean, it exists, but it's rare. So
Well,
it's so cool that you're doing
yeah,
that.
we're not doing what Jeff Koons does because I'm on the floor with everybody else. It's like I'm there in it and
Yeah.
making my own. And I, it's just I'm pretty intense when I sculpt. It's like models are surprised at how fast the clay goes flying and chopped and
Hmm.
ripped. Um, I'm very sure of myself when I'm sculpting, and just I know exactly where it's supposed to go.
Hmm.
Um, so that's kind of cool for the other guys because then they're like, oh, he knows what he's doing. And then I come around and I start whacking on their pieces, and,
Hmm.
and then it's like, you need to. I didn't have that. I had to grow into the leadership role.
It's
Um,
hard. Yeah, that's
yeah,
one thing
it's
I struggle
hard.
with.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. But I think I have an added advantage because, Jeff, if I don't get it right, the project doesn't go. So it's like it's all hands on deck and everybody's going to be on deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
The leadership thing came after the first year of the last project.
Mm.
And then I had to fix a lot of mistakes that I had made in terms of being too kind and polite as the boss. I'm really the boss.
Hmm.
It's not like it's not a collaboration.
Yeah.
It's not collaboration.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to do what I told you to do, and this is how you're going to do it, and I'm going to show you how to do it, and then this is a methodology, and if you mess up the methodology, then we're going to have a discussion, and I'm going to try to get you back on track, and then if you can adjust and um, make the transition into because I'm very precise about like what the one-to-one when you're looking at the model, there are very specifics of what you're seeing, and there's
Hmm.
a very clear structure that's there. And if you're not getting it, then I should fire you but I didn't do
Perfect.
that before. I
Yeah.
didn't do that before
It's
because
hard to
people
fire
would,
somebody. I fired a
yeah,
person before and it was
yeah.
not pretty. They
And
started
it's
crying and I.
right. Yeah, and the thing is though, I didn't fire people early enough. I should have
Yeah.
fired them sooner and they drag on too long, and that's on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would be so angry because so much time had gone by, and really I should have fired that person like 9 months ago instead of I like got angrier and angrier and angrier, and I just like it was like this, I'm eating my liver, because it's like I got to sit with this person who continually is being obstinate and doing their own thing and their own style. And so it's like, that's me. That's my fault. That's
Yeah.
my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, hey, one last technical question, then I want to ask you my final question.
Okay.
Um, do you use oil-based clay or water-based?
Um, I use I use NSP Chavan, non-sulfurated plastilina.
Oh, okay.
And the reason we use that is because I don't have to wrap it up with cloth.
Yeah.
And then what we have an oven like with lights that we can heat the clay up and get it like
It's a pretty good
oil.
size oven.
It's like heat lamps,
Okay.
and then we put it in there and we load that up. We'll have to make a bunch more of those. But the thing is, it's like water-based consistency if you heat it up,
Right.
and then it gets real hard. So you have the ability to then
What
uh,
number do you usually use?
the medium.
Was that like number two?
I would
Oh,
say
'cause I think
three.
it's 1 through 4, right?
It would be a three.
3? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
so that's pretty hard.
because you heat it,
Right.
it goes down to one.
Right. And then you
Or
can
even,
really get detail when it hardens back up.
yeah, and what we did is we evolved into a different system where you're actually going liquid, like
You brushing it on there?
spatula loads like very and becomes fluid. And
Yeah.
so if you look at the sculpture from the left to the right, because we went left to right, from the middle to the end, it gets even more activated, and the ground gets more activated because we're going with like super hot fluid clay that's very fast and expedient.
Geez, don't you burn your fingers working with that?
A little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta be careful.
Well,
You gotta
you're
be
a
smart.
sculptor, though. You probably got calloused
Yeah,
hands like
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It's very cool, Jeff. It's
Yeah.
it's like we evolved. The
Yeah.
project evolved, and I evolved, and then everybody had to evolve along with me. And some people kept up, some people didn't.
Right. All right. So I wish I could talk to you forever, but I got to go sign some papers for something. But you've already given me lots of great, or not me and my audience, lots of great advice as you've talked about
Thank
what
you
you're
for
doing.
having me. Yeah.
But if you could give one piece of advice that you feel
Mhm.
like is really important to an amateur or aspiring artist that you either had or you wish you had, what would that be?
Well, you mentioned it before. It's the product that counts.
Yeah.
So you're only going to make as much money as the product and how elevated it is in terms of excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to achieve excellence is to have a life of not necessarily Christian faith, but a life of faith that you are on a path. Then you need to be very in tune to the signals that come to you so that when you're having an episode of a regrettable moment, let's call it a
Mm-hmm.
regrettable moment, that it's there to make you better.
Yeah.
It's whatever difficulty you're having, what is the lesson? And
Yeah.
that will make you a better version of yourself. And I will tell you, let's say, you get, some sort of illness. That illness is there for a reason now. Is you're going to go through it and become a better version of yourself dealing with it.
Mm.
Art,
Yeah.
that's what the making of art is.
That's great advice. I agree 100%. Here's
Thank you.
Sabin. It's been so fun to get to know you.
Well,
One of these
thank you.
days, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to see your studio and I'll take you to lunch or dinner or something.
I would love it. I don't have a studio right now, but it's coming.
Oh,
By the
what are you
summer,
doing? Are
I'll
you
have.
even sculpting right now?
No, we're raising
Oh, God, you must
the
be
structure.
dying not sculpting right now.
No, it's been since I finished, put down my tools in December of 24. Where are we now?
Oof. Yeah,
What are we-
it's been almost 2 years.
And now we are 26, so December of 24.
So it's been a year and a
That's
half.
1 year and a half. That's not bad.
No, that's not too
And
bad.
then you go, so we maybe got a few more months, and then it will be, we don't stop then for 7.5 years.
Okay, well, if I come visit you at the studio, I won't take more than 10 minutes.
No, you can.
But I'd love to visit.
We can do an interview at the studio once we're rolling.
Oh, that'd be
And
sick.
I'll
Yeah,
share
that'd
with
be
people.
that'd be
Yeah.
sick. But seriously, I would love to take you and your wife out. I mean, you're
That'll be
here,
great.
man. You're here in Utah. Let's hang out
You're not
sometime.
leaving.
It'd be fun.
I'm here till we finish this, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You-
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Cool,
good to
Jeff.
have you
Well,
here.
it's an honor, and thank you for having me. And I hope I said something that helps people.
Oh, I'm sure you did. It was a great interview. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Sabin.
Have a good
Have a
day.
good one.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Undraped Artist Podcast. If you enjoyed it, subscribe. And if you could, leave a comment or review. That really helps the channel. Please share the show with your friends, and if you're feeling generous, consider a monthly donation at theundrapedartist.com. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week.